Welcome back to Expressing My Thoughts, the show where I take a look at the weirdest pieces of media out there and give my general opinion on them. So, you may be guessing as to what I'm dressing up for this Halloween. That's right. I'm dressing up as the red shirt from Star Trek. Just kidding, I'm actually going as Tony Shalhoub from Galaxy Quest. Okay, I'll stop stalling. I know I've mostly been a ghost throughout this entire Halloween season, but you know what? I am making up for it right now, so here's a list on villain songs. I hope this makes up for a lot.
Slimy, sadistic, all-around badass, and are always my and many people's favorite part of any musical. Though while I can confidently say that I'm definitely not the first person to do a list like this, I have been noticing that they're all from the 80s, 90s, and possibly even earlier. The 2000s onwards got snubbed a lot when it comes to these lists, and I want to honor them specifically for this Halloween, because I feel like it'd be pretty unfair if I didn't.
I know I'm disappointing so many people by saying this, but if you want the list of my actual favorites, here they are. I especially like that one. That one's pretty cool.
Firstly, I do need to establish a few ground rules here. I'm only including stuff from the past 20 years, so anything from 2005 all the way to this year is fair game. I'm not going to be including any Broadway shows on this list either. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of really good ones to pick from there, but I want to stick exclusively to film because that's just what I am. I'm a little film geek. This also means that I won't be including any games, TV shows, or concept albums as well, although there are a lot of really good contenders with those.
Also, no cover songs. There's not going to be anything more unsatisfying than listening to all of these songs only for the Moulin Rouge rendition of Roxanne to come out on top. How embarrassing would that be? No diss to Moulin Rouge, of course. I just want to stick to mostly original songs for this. Also, if you're wondering why this is a top 6 instead of a top 10... that's all I have to say. Let's start the list.
To action! We surrender!
I already liked Princess and the Frog before this, though I much more enjoyed the princess portion of the movie rather than the frog portion, which took up the majority of the film, and they don't really follow through with mentioning any sorts of spirituality outside of, like, the character of, like, Mama Walde. Was her name Mama Walde, or am I just thinking about the movie Blackula again? And they don't really mention any good sides to voodoo, only like the bad sides to voodoo, and Lawrence is a pretty boring side villain. Okay, I was pretty mixed on the film as a whole, but it doesn't really truly become kick-ass until Dr. Facilier shows up into the picture. The song on its own already sounds fantastic, and I absolutely adore how explosive it gets near the end after the middle portion's slow burn. But pairing this with the visuals easily makes this a one-of-a-kind experience, and even better, it is led by the smooth and seductive voice of Keith David. This man was in the same movie as Shane Dawson and has said stuff like, "I did it for the lulz" in confidence, and yet I still want to go out on a date with him. If you said to me that the cat from Coraline would sing a kick-ass song about voodoo and hoodoo, yeah, I'd honestly believe it. Now, if the cat got a song, then it would have easily won Best Animated Feature.
Thank you very much.
Ron Romans is a dumb movie. But it's the kind of dumb that I kinda like. One that's well aware of how dumb it is, and it just doesn't care and decides to double down on it anyways. And this song number from Nero, played weirdly by Lloyd's Submarine, perfectly captures that. I know I should probably hate how much of a whiny dirtbag they made him here, but it's so aware about how immature he is that I do kind of enjoy it at the end of the day. Also, it's a 50s rock and roll homage, and I do like it when musicals randomly get their Elvis on halfway through. I'm looking at you, Joseph, in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Also, I have a feeling that I'm never going to get a chance to bring this up again, but this might have the most random cast for any movie ever. Kate Nash, Nick Frost, Sebastian Croft, Craig Roberts. A lot of them are only known in British circles, I'll give you that, but Derek Jacobi, that man was in Gladiator.
Hi, I'm Karen Carpenter.
I know it feels a little weird to put a surrealist horror film on the list of villain songs, but considering that this guy is a folk musician, I felt like it would only be fair. Like, he considers this song better than the Carpenters. You have to honor that at least. Being the longest song on the list, clocking in at over 7 goddamn minutes, Amulet of a Weeping Maze is strangely peaceful for such a nihilistic character. But it sorta works here. Jeremiah is a religious maniac who suffers from delusions of grandeur, feeling that he's entitled to owning the entire world, and the song he wrote is entirely about him. Think the Gaston song from Beauty and the Beast, but more luscious, trippy, and a plea to God, and less about eating 6 dozen eggs. Please listen to this. And hey, if you're interested, go watch the movie itself. It's surreal, it's gory, it's badass, and it features a scene where Nicolas Cage yells in his underwear for a minute. Like, come on, that has to be a sell to at least somebody.
I finished cutting your hair. It's all done.
One's a vengeful barber. The other's a corrupt judge who plans to forcefully marry the daughter of said barber. Both about to do the worst possible things a human being can do, and yet they're both somehow singing about the same thing. And I made that sound like a terrible sitcom on ABC. First of all, can we take a minute to appreciate that this was Rickman's first and only musical and he knocked it straight out of the park? I mean, from a vocal standpoint on his own, yeah, he's definitely no Jamie Jackson or Edmund Lindeck, but being paired with someone whose vocals are also left a lot to be desired works wonders with what the film demands from them. Proving that you don't really need to hit the note properly to make it work, which is one of the many reasons as to why Sondheim's considered to be one of the great Broadway writers. Also, I was considering putting Epiphany on the list as well, but I feel like that song would be a lot less enjoyable if you didn't know the context. Not a knock against it, of course, it's still pretty good no matter what, but the thing about Pretty Women is that it's very unassuming since it sounds a lot like a love song the first time you hear it, making the context behind it even more unnerving. Plus, that song only has one villain and this has 2. So ha!
Demons!
Oh, hunt, it's K-pop demon fuckers. Oh, fuck, it's K-pop demon oh, god damn it! K-pop motherfucking hunters. What the hell was this movie? A streaming musical so great that it actually got a theatrical release by popular demand, it would be pretty hard not to include any of this film's bangers on the list of the best anything. But this is a list about villain songs, so there is only one right answer here, and that is the big Saja Boys showstopper, Your Idol. The one thing I do really like about this movie is that they aren't too afraid to acknowledge the more toxic side of K-pop. Like, there are good fans, but there's also ones that are so willing to jump at a hot new sensation that they're willing to give their soul for them, in this case, quite literally. From the unsettling lyrics revealing Gino's true intent that also doubles as a subtle diss to Rumi directly, to this number actually giving the 4 others here something to do, yeah, most of them are kind of blank slates for most of this film, it's pretty sad, to the Dear's Ire at the beginning. This is such a major contrast against how bouncy and soulless, pun fully intended, Soda Pop was, that there was practically no contest. If How It's Done was the point where this was going to be a good movie, then Your Idol cemented it. This rocks. Also, Zoe's the best Huntrix. Just wanted to put that out there.
Yay! And here's the curveball.
Chances are that you've probably never even heard of this movie. But believe me, you will. By God, you will. Because it's not just up there as one of my favorite musicals ever, but it might be up there as one of my favorite films of the entire decade. Not just because of how original it is and how bonkers this thing can get, but because the great songs on here are exceptionally great. Also, it has the villain as the main character, so of course you're going to have a lot of really good choices for this list. But by far, the biggest highlight of the whole film is Henry's descent into pure dislikability with You Used to Laugh. A song that is aged remarkably well, not just because of this entire movie being a strange euphemism for cancel culture and the downfall of fame through the lens of an evil Bo Burnham, but because it has the obvious saving grace of just sounding really damn good. All of the songs in the movie were written and composed by Sparks, whose output is equally as what the fuck. And that energy passes over exceptionally well with this song. It actually feels like something they would write as opposed to repeating the same word over and over and just calling it a day. Sorry, we love each other so much, you're a great motif, but you seriously suck as an actual song, sorry. Listen to You Used to Laugh. And while you're at it, please watch Annette. The movie's been slept on hard, and I think it's really unfair that a movie with this many insane visuals gets the cold shoulder. So if I could take anything away from this Halloween season, please watch this movie. Please, please, with a cherry on top, please.
And that's my list. Again, I'm not really demanding for them to become new staples, but there are just a few unappreciated gems that I like to point out, because they are genuinely really good. Thank you for watching, and please don't ask why I'm wearing a blue jumper now. Where'd it go?